We're going to discuss a little bit about the self-employed category. Self-employed is geared towards world-class athletes who have represented their country at the world-class level in 2 years in the last 5 years, and also people who are participating in cultural activities. Usually there is a list of cultural activities that are accepted under this category, such as actors, coaches, librarians. There is quite an extensive list. And what the requirement is that you have to have 2 years experience in this field in the last 5 years, and you have to basically bring significant benefits to the Canadian culture scene. Some cases that we have done, so just to give you, we have done music teachers, actors, we have done an Olympian, we have actually done somebody who had was in the arts, created sculptures. These are some of the successful cases that we have done. The requirements are quite high actually for this, because a lot of people do cultural activities. They're artists, they draw, but what the Canadian government wants to see is that you have been making an income through these activities. So this was your primary job of some sort. So we typically provide income tax documents, contracts. There is a lot of things that need to go into these applications in order to convince the Canadian government that you have 2 years in the last 5 years of experience in these fields. In addition to that, you will have to provide a business plan about what you're planning to do in Canada in the same field. So if you wanted to start a business that would basically benefit the Canadian culture. Say for example, if you are an athlete, you could become a coach here and have your own coaching training session for whichever activity you're doing, such as soccer coach, as an independent person. You also have to have financial capability, because typically somebody who establishes a business should have enough finances to be able to support themselves and their family while they're here in Canada, at least for 1 year until the business is established. And language requirements, although there is no language requirements listed, in our experience we have seen that while the file is going through the process, they will ask for language results in order to satisfy that you can actually be able to communicate either in English or French. Again, the list is there is a list of activities that are acceptable. Some people who might not know, interior designers fall within this group, like I said, coaches, artists. So there is quite a bit of things, and if you need our help with these applications, we have done quite a few successful ones, and we would be more than happy to help you. So what are the pros and cons for this program? The pros, basically, you enter Canada as a permanent resident as long as you meet all the requirements. After you come to Canada, hopefully you will establish the business, but again, there is no conditions on your permanent residency, what you're going to be doing afterwards. It can be quite suitable for a price range, actually, because you only have to do a business plan. You actually don't have to invest in the business until you get into Canada. So there is not a lot of investment that you have to put up front, such as where you do actually, a program like where you have to establish the business here. This is, you come with permanent residency. So cost effective, I would definitely take it. It is a point system where you have to achieve 35 out of 100, but it's fairly easy to achieve those points. Again, there is no minimum standard for a language, but I always tell people you should be sufficient enough in listening and speaking. What are the disadvantages? Obviously, you have to have a lot of documents to be able to convince the Canadian government. You have to have a very convincing business plan to make sure that it's reasonable and the officer is satisfied about what you're planning to do in Canada. One of the things that I have found with this program is it's a little bit discretionary on the officer's part about to what extent they're satisfied. So the government has given a little bit leeway. Yes, even if you have the most strongest documents that you prove the 2 years, if it comes to the discretion about whether they're satisfied about what you're going to establish in Canada, they can put that into place about what is their level of satisfaction about your establishment in Canada.